Oh, well, I think the starting point is if you look at the whole history of the game, England don't win in Australia very often. Since the Second World War, they won in 54, 55, 70, 71, 78, 86, 2010. Not very often. So it's a handful of times. And so the starting point is that it's really hard to win in Australia for an England team. So I wouldn't say England start favourites on that basis. And it's not the strongest England team that we can take because there's no Ben Stokes, there's no Jofra Archer, two cricketers who would make a huge difference, in my opinion. Equally, it's not the greatest Australian team that I've seen either. You know, we talked before about what a great team Australia were in the 1990s. I don't think this is as good an Australia team as that. They've got some good batsmen, Warner, Smith, Labuschagne, and those fast bowlers are excellent. Cummins, Hazelwood and Stark. But they have some weaknesses in that side as well. So I don't think England go without hope, but they're not favourites. And I think Australia will win, I don't know, with a margin of 2 games, say 3-1 or something.
Well, I think it'll be pretty close because the teams are pretty evenly matched. I think for England it's going to be hard because Jofra Archer is probably the best strike bowler and he's not coming to Australia. I have England. If England's in their best team, I think it'll be a very close series. But in Australian conditions where the ball bounces a bit more, I think our quick bowlers will maybe have a bit of an advantage. So I think Australia will win the series, but it should be pretty close again.
Australia, we need 2 opening batters. I've seen one this week, Daniel Bell-Drummond. Our 2 openers are not solid enough. They're not giving good enough starts. And I think Bell-Drummond would be a better player in Australia than he is in England. But I've just heard the news this morning that the Australian Prime Minister is not going to make any special exceptions COVID-wise for cricketers. So it's watch this space because I think a number of hours will say, well, we're not going. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because they will find 16 who will go. But you be prepared that some of the big players would say, I'm not going. Don't worry, the 11 will go or 16 will go, and it might not be the number 1 team.
You blokes going to get absolutely hammered. Absolutely. Nah.
You know what, man?
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be closer than that. Like when I look at the 2 sides, I feel very certain that England has got a particularly good bowling unit. I'm a little concerned about your batting. And when I look at our side, I think that's exactly the same. I think we've got quite a strong bowling side, but I think we've got, a vulnerable batting lineup. And the fact is that, England has played a lot more Test cricket than what Australia has. Australia has not played a Test cricket match since they lost here at the Gabba against India, last summer. That's a long time without Test cricket. They've all been off playing T20 cricket, and the conversion rate might be there. But by the same token, I'm not sure it is, So there's challenges on both sides of the fence. The first Test match sets the tone, right? And it's the hardest place for you guys to play as English. Just like me going up and playing Headley. That's a very tough venue. Ball swinging, moving around, atmospheric conditions change. At the Gabba, it's a unique wicket. It's fast, it's bouncy, and it's threatening, to techniques like English techniques, which are growing up on wickets that, they're looking to cover the stumps. So, yeah, great challenge. It's going to be a fantastic Test match series, and it's too close to call. And I honestly mean that. I think it's going to be a really tough challenge for Australian cricket. I think we should win, but it's only a fingers crossed hope. It's not a arrogant, we're going to thrash you 5-0 sort of comment. No way.
I think it's going to be difficult for England to win. It depends on England's, batting, how they perform in Australia. Australia have, really good bowlers and fast bowlers as well. So they will have to perform well. But you know, that team when I was, you know, in 2011 or 12 when I was there, and England won that series. That was a really strong England team where Australia weren't as strong. I think Australia are a lot stronger now, and England are going in with, you know, the likes of, you know, Ben Stokes, which, you know, he's a good player, but I just, yeah, I think at the moment Australia are favourites to win the Ashes.
Oh, so excited! Can't wait for the Ashes this winter. It's going to be awesome, and to just be out there, be back in Australia, at home, and just see, you know, just an awesome experience again to be part of my first home Ashes.
I would say, well, unfortunately, history is a fairly good indicator of the future. The last 10 Test matches in Australia, England have lost 9 and drawn the other. But I would say that this Australia side are a little bit more vulnerable. They have a captain who's vulnerable, a coach. There's been a lot of talk about Justin Langer and the pressure on him. Their bowling attack is very, very good. And, you know, batting, they have Labuschagne and Steve Smith. You know, they could do with Warner finding some form, but you'd say Australia are favourites. But if someone can help Joe Root get some runs, if it can't just be Root with the batting, Milan or Pope or whoever they pick, they need to get more runs than just Joe Root. They're a little bit too reliant. I like the 3 they picked at the end of the summer in Burns, Hamid and Milan. But, you know, in Australia, they will be tested. So history tells you Australia, but, you know, I wish the lads well. They're going. It's a great series, the Ashes.